your first step in putting your tote bag together is this step number 1, and then step number 8 over here, which is pinning your interfacing to the wrong sides of your matching fabric sections. Okay, you have, if you remember, you cut interfacing for the front and back, which you used pieces 18 and 14 for that. Okay, so your main body of the bag has interfacing. For piece number 17, which is your gusset, that's this piece right here, and piece number 16, which is your strap, and that's this piece right here. Okay, so I have already stitched the interfacing onto, or basted it onto my straps, also my front and back, and I've done one of my piece number 17. I'm going to demo to you on this other piece, okay? But this is what it's going to look like when you're done. Your piece is held on there with this light hand stitch. This is the only hand stitching you're really going to need for this project. And before this, if you remember from the list of videos I sent you to ask you to review and make your way through in a certain order, you need to take a look at the one hand stitching video that Julie did on a running stitch. The running stitch is also what we use for a basting stitch. Okay, it's just a very quick stitch. Okay, so that's what those will look like when you're finished. So let's take a look at piece 17. This is the finished version of it. Okay, oops, sorry, I can't get my pattern piece free. The interfacing is on the wrong side. The markings that we put on the interfacing are facing me. I also, as I was doing this, I realized we missed one mark at the end of that pattern piece that is actually kind of important. So if you look at this, these are your points where your bag will come to. You also need to note this notch at the end because that's where you're going to attach this to the other gusset piece. Okay, so as you're doing this, just mark that lightly. Okay, what you want to do with your interfacing is make sure that you have mirror pieces, right? This is the only piece that really needs to be mirrored is number 17. And if you look at this, this may be a little confusing because I can't get a distance on it. But it is this piece and this piece, okay? It's mirrored with each other, okay? So this piece is done. I have already done the stitching on that. This piece is the piece I'm going to demo how to pin and how to stitch on, okay? That is, your interfacing goes on the wrong side of your fabric, okay? That's the right side, and that's the wrong side, okay? And it goes so that your markings are facing up. It's another way to guarantee that you've got mirrored pieces because if you marked them as mirror pieces, okay? So it goes like that. To pin this, you're going to see when I do the pocket, I do this a little differently. I lay everything flat and make sure my edges are matching up. Okay, like that. Then I'm going to pin a corner. And then I'm going to pin another corner. Then I'm going to pin sort of in the middle and sort of in the middle. And I'm going to come and I'm going to pin sort of in the middle again. And up in that corner. and down in this corner. Okay, when I did those larger pieces, those front pieces, I pinned even more. I did the corners, and then I did a variety of pins sort of throughout the middle of the piece. This is because it's very important that this is sort of laying flat. You don't want it bubbling. Okay, then I'm going to take my needle and thread, which I've already got prepped here. Okay. Those of you in the first group, you have not done your hand sewing exercises yet, and we included some red Silamide. Even though that would be what we would use for this, I'm not sure we included enough for you to do both this and your work on your hand sewing for later. So you may just want to use, I just used the gray thread that is on all y'all's sewing machines and is on my sewing machine. So either or, it doesn't really matter. Put a knot in the end like Julie showed you. Then I'm going to stitch along the edges. Now your seam allowance on this is 1/2 inch. On your straps, which were these right here, your seam allowance is only 1/4 inch. So I stitched these really close to the edge. This I'm going to stitch a little further over, okay, because it is a 1/2 inch. But your running stitch, again, your basting stitch, just kind of goes in and out. And you can do that multiple times. And then pull it through, okay, and then do it multiple times. And then pull it through. Oops. Okay, and you're just going to do this all around the edges of your piece. I can actually probably go ahead and remove that pin since my thread keeps getting caught on it, and that's kind of annoying me. Okay, but you can also shift your pins as you go. Like this is all nice and flat up here, so maybe I want to move that pin from the corner up to there so that it's holding things steady there as I move forward. Okay, like I said, your main job here is to keep everything nice and flat. You don't want your interfacing bubbling. Okay, so I'm just going to finish this out, and then that will finish out my pieces. This is not a quick process. Unlike this video that's fewer than 10 minutes in length, you'll want to allot a little bit of time to do this, to go around, because you don't want to rush it, because you do want to keep everything smooth as you're working along. Okay, excellent. I'll see you in a few minutes when we're going to prep a pocket.